Back tonight on In Focus, the South African Local Government Association says about 27% of municipal ward councillors are administering more than 500 billion rands of taxpayers' monies while possessing no qualification or even a matric certificate. This comes from a briefing in Parliament by Salga, which revealed that the change of leadership in the 2021 election resulted in a loss of institutional memory and imposed a need for escalated induction and other capacity building programs. Governance and leadership expert Professor Mazwe Majola joins us now for more on that conversation. Good to have you, Prof, and thank you very much for your time. The Auditor General says that all role players in the accountability ecosystem need to work deliberately and with urgency towards a culture of performance, accountability, transparency, and institutional integrity that will ultimately result in a better life for the people of South Africa. Now, when you hear that a good 27% of the councillors are handling budgets, but they're not even quite sure what they are looking at when they're looking on those budgets. How do we ensure that that ecosystem gives us the outcome of performance, the outcome of accountability, transparency, and institutional integrity?
Yes, good evening, Thabo. Thanks, my brother. You know, it's quite a challenge because when you deal with elected leaders, so remember that councillors are not appointed, they are elected. They are elected by their own communities or by the voters from their communities. Now, here is a person who is very passionate about service delivery, speaks very well in his or her own language when they meet communities, and then the communities love this person and they trust this person because they know that is the person who's very closer to them. So they elect this person to go and represent them. That's a problem. Now, this person does not have a matric, but he or she knows how to lead the people speaking his or her own language, and there's a connection there. So it's quite a challenge, and because now here are the people, they have go there and preside over multi-million and billion rand, and they're going to be given financials and reports to read. They don't even understand English. So the department and Salga must really devise very creative ideas of how to handle these things. It may be maybe a translation or translating these reports or documents to vernaculars so that these people may be able to read and understand them in their own vernacular languages. Obviously, I know that there is a problem with the budget in our country right now, but they must come up with the creative ideas. Another one will be really, or rather, obviously, developing capacity building programs. Yeah. That when these people have been elected, and then the Salga and local government SETA must then develop some programs that will then accelerate these people when they get in there, in terms of training them and upskilling them and assisting them to understand. But yeah, definitely it is quite a challenge because you don't want to deny voters from exercising that democratic right. Yes. Of electing their own local representatives that they want just because they are not educated.
Isn't it then that responsibility must also, to an extent, also fall with political parties themselves? We've seen, for example, with the MK party and its list of candidates that were then later kicked out of the National Assembly, and in court, former President Jacob Zuma says, no, I took those out because they are inexperienced. So to capacitate the party, they brought in some of the folks that they believe have got some experience. You can doubt the bona fides of their character and being in the state capture years and so on and so forth. but at least you know that they've got the experience of being in the National Assembly. I'm saying that to say, is it then therefore not the duty of the political parties themselves as far as capacity building before you give us candidates that you put on the list?
I know, absolutely. I mean, it's correct, Thabo. Political parties must make sure that the people they send there are people who will understand what is happening there. However, it's a matter of what are they going to do in environments, in situations, and areas. I mean, you go to villages or rural areas or townships, in informal settlements, where, as I'm saying that, because remember, political parties want people who will want leaders who will bring people. So now these people are able to bring people. I mean, as I'm saying that, they're charismatic when they talk. It's just that when they talk in their own vernacular language, they are good. So political parties, then they must alert them, even the voters at branch levels, that look, because when these people go there, there are stack of documents they have to read, and they're in English, and the financial, they have to understand. There's some complex municipal operation that they understand. So if you want this person, we'll have to make sure, even that person, because I know now that most political parties, they conduct interviews. I know that DA has been doing that for many, many years, conducting interviews for their own representatives. Even ANC have started doing that. That during that time, these people must be alerted that you go there, and then we'll make sure, or even before they go there. The challenge is that they don't know whether they will win or not.
Yes.
So it's a matter of being
you get elected and you say, I'm in. Yes, I'm in. They send you into a council, they send you to a legislature, they send you to the National Assembly, and it's almost as you are driving on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a matter of having that attitude of capacitating people, whether they win or not, but they would not have lost, because this is their member, this is their leaders. They can still use them and deploy them in other areas as well. But just to make sure that they capacitate them, not just sending people there, because that is why many of these municipalities, they don't, or they have poor performance. The Auditor General is complaining every year about their poor audit reports and all those things, because they are not well trained and skilled.
The other question is that of institutional memory. How important is this thing of institutional memory to an organization, right, in terms of leadership? But also, again, we are stuck with a situation where these are political offices, so they are stuck to a particular term, and they go to conference, and then a new chairperson comes in, a new regional chairperson, a new president comes in. So you can't say, all right, you're no longer president of the party, but you can remain president of the country just for institutional memory. How do you then navigate that change in political power and of course, what you need to maintain is institutional memory?
And that is the advantages and disadvantages of elected leaders, because as we are saying, that they've got a term base. If you are there for 5 years, and then if you have to leave, or they have to change you, or we have to continue, maybe if the people still want to. But indeed, I mean, that memory it's very, very important. Institutional memory is very important, Thabo, because you don't want to lose some information and some culture and how values of the organization, how we've been doing things here. New people come and they introduce their own culture, their own way. So there should be those ones who can still guide them and direct them, even in some information even in some things that are happening here, so that they can guide them. It's very, very important. But we've got to balance the old and the new, because you still need the old one, as I'm saying, to keep that institutional memory, but also you still need the new one who will bring some innovation, creativity, new ideas, passion, and energy, and then you've got to blend that, more especially if you've been an organization that have been there for a while. It's very difficult for a new organization like MK Party. It's a new organization. They must just work with whatever they have at the moment. And of course, yes, and it's and you can see that it's a tested trial. They put this. They can see that I know that they're not gonna make it. They remove them, put another one, and that is a very bold leadership from Ubaba Msholozi, because other people would have let it say, no, obviously we've put it there, we can't move them, we can't lose them now. But it's just to say, look, I cannot compromise when it comes to quality. I need capable people there. I need a professional there. But how you do it is very important, because as you introduce those professionals, you don't want to upset the ones that you've been there, the rank and files.
Yeah,
you've got to protect them. You've got to do it in such a way that you make them understand why you do it, so that you don't, you just don't want to upset them. Otherwise, you need all of them as you are building this organization.
Prof, appreciate your time. Let's leave you there for tonight. Prof Mazwe Majola, governance and leadership expert at the Wits Business School there with that intervention.